Years being a TV star as Doogie Howser, MD. We assume he means that he'll spend his 50s goofing around and playing video games and drinking Mountain Dew. Neil Patrick Harris, welcome back to Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Thank you, sir.
I have a bunch of questions here from the kids who want to ask you things, but I have a question. You're doing a new show called Genius Junior.
Indeed I am.
And I watched it, and it's a quiz show with like these incredibly smart young kids.
Who do the most remarkable things. We went around America and found, I think, 24 or 30-something kids that were between the ages of 8 and 12 with strong, high intellects, and we paired them up into two teams of 3, and we challenged them with all kinds of unbelievable things.
Does it make you, though, kind of increasingly disappointed in your own normal children?
Oh, my normal children are just idiots, apparently.
Apparently. Yeah. They can't do anything.
I always thought that Doogie Howser kind of messed up the curve.
Because your kids weren't, like, brilliant surgeons at the age of... Well, how old was Doogie Howser, 15?
Doogie was, 15 when that show started, and if I'm not mistaken, he was kind of the first blogger.
Was he really?
He ended every episode kind of at the computer, and he typed in some thing that he thought was intriguing to combine the A story and the B story, and then give a little smile and finish it off.
Yeah. Was he inspired by a real-life 14-year-old that became a doctor?
God bless you.
Sorry, Doug, I was hoping you could take a look. I've had this cough.
Well, this is good because we have some questions for you. We
Mark, you got up!
In the audience to write down some questions. And here's one from Sebastian.
He's look at the cat on his lap.
That's a great question, Sebastian. My doctor is certainly older than Doogie. I think he's probably in his early 40s.
Looks better than
I
that
wonder that Sebastian
recently.
assumes you have a doctor.
You've been
Like, I have a
showing more
regular
hair on
doctor.
it,
You know what I
China.
do? When I take a cat to the vet,
It's not the best I've seen
I
it,
ask the
baby.
vet questions as if I'm asking about an animal at home. Yeah, I'll say like when my dog Ramona does push-ups, she makes a moaning noise. Do you think her rib could be pulling away from her muscles?
My favorite role of yours, Neil, is a recent one. It's Count Olaf in the Netflix Series of Unfortunate Events. And that's also true. Yeah, the kids here love it. And Emma, who is age 9, wants to ask, how do you get your eyebrows, hair, and beard like that when you play Count Olaf?
Oh, that's a great question. I actually have to spend every morning a couple hours before everyone else arrives.
Actually, the really tall flowers hide their buds for a long period.
And so I get a fake nose, fake eye, fake forehead, and add all these different splotches and capillaries and make me look really horrible.
Well, the
and then I go to another trailer where all
dandelions
the
just
hair
feed
pieces
up.
are. So I get a 2-piece wig, then 3 pieces of a monobrow, 2 eyebrows plus the middle part, 2 mutton chops on the sides, and a little goatee at the bottom.
Right.
So it takes a good 2 hours all in.
Wow.
I look nothing like myself, and I can be an awful person and shout at children.
It's fun. Do you enjoy shouting at children when you get
He
to play Count Olaf? Is
loves
that fun?
being
It looks fun.
Roman. He don't
It's
want to
the
be
best
that
job
forever.
And Finn, also a big fan of you in that role, wants to know if you really have that eye tattoo on your ankle.
You know what, Finn? In the first couple episodes of season 1, I was required to have this eye tattoo. Count Olaf is known for it, and they made this temporary tattoo that they would attach and apply with alcohol. And I thought, why don't I just get one? And so between seasons 1 and 2, I went and got the actual tattoo on my ankle. So
Wow, that's really great. I didn't know that. That's commitment to the role.
Yeah.
Well, Neil Patrick Harris, we are always so thrilled to talk to you, and this time we've invited you here to play a game that we're calling Welcome Home, Fido. So you played Doogie Howser, MD, so we thought we'd ask you about doggy houses. Answer 2 of these questions correctly, and you won our prize from one of our listeners. Bill, who is Neil Patrick Harris playing for you?
Ryan Riley of Elmhurst, Illinois.
Right, I'm guessing Ryan is here. So here's your first question. Now, there is a doghouse in the town of San Anselmo, California, that is very unusual. Why? A, it is heated by its very own miniature nuclear reactor. B, it was designed by the most famous architect in American history, Frank Lloyd Wright. Or C, it is the size of a 20-room mansion.
What? Okay, well, I laughed at the answer A, because that just seems dangerous.
Nuclear reactor.
Nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Frank Lloyd Wright.
And you're right, Neil. That's what happened.
Yeah.
It's a great story. And the kids in the audience will appreciate this. So Frank Lloyd Wright built a house for a couple out in California, and the couple's son, a kid, said, Mr. Wright, would you build me a doghouse to go with the house? And Frank Lloyd Wright wrote back and said, ask me next year, I'm busy now. And he wrote back next year, said, it's next year, will you do it? And Frank Lloyd Wright said, yes. And he designed their doghouse, and you can go see it in San Anselmo. Here's your next question. Some inventors have come up, of course, as you might expect, with a high-tech doghouse. It's called the Pet Pavilion. It's made of metal and glass. It's got computers controlling temperature and everything else. But there's one big problem with it. What is it? A, it has an echoing effect, making any barking 8 times as loud.
Oh, wow.
B, the electronics, as sensitive as they are ruined by dog farts. Or C, when a dog is inside it, it looks like you're microwaving it. Very good.
I'm going to go with A.
You're going to go with A, the echoing effect? No, it was actually the microwave. This is the problem. Well, imagine, it's a glass box with metal on the sides. It's got buttons for controlling. And imagine your dog inside and looking out at you with a look at its face, saying, don't push the popcorn button. Everything's fine, Neil, because you have one more chance to win it all for our young friends.
All right, Ryan.
Last question. The Samsung company, they wanted to make their own high-tech doghouse. They surveyed dog owners about what features it should have. And 18% said the one thing their dog needed in their doghouse was what? A fully functional robot to take it for walks and pick up after it. B, a speaker that constantly whispers, who's a good dog? Who's a good dog? Or C, a hot tub.
Those are my choices?
Those are your choices.
Maybe the hot tub?
Is that your choice? You're right. Yes, it's the hot tub.
There you go.
Although it's called a hydrotherapy spa for your dog.
Right, a warm tub.
Exactly. Bill, how did Neil Patrick Harris do in our quiz?
2 out of 3. You're a winner.
That's great. I mean,
Wow.
2 for 2. Why do they do something?
This was billed as NPR.
Neil Patrick Harris stars as Count Olaf on Netflix's A Series of Unfortunate Events, and he's the host of NBC's Genius Jr.
They're doing
and the
work
author of the
on
book
it.
series The Magic Misfits. The second story
And
comes
so
out in
the
September.
pics.
That's like a tiny
Hilarious.
portion of what he's done. Neil Patrick Harris, thank you so much for joining us today.
Neil Patrick Harris, it's a roast on him.
When we come back, we speak results like Aubrey Plaza, CIA analyst John Nixon. We'll be back in a minute with more of What Wait Don't Tell Me from NBC.
Soap opera in the 80s with a blog and
Support for this podcast and the following message comes from Spotify. On Spotify, you can listen to millions of songs and now also thousands of podcasts. Spotify makes it easy to discover and follow new artists and now offers the same with your favorite podcasts. Listening to the latest in news, entertainment, sports, and culture is as easy as playing music. Music and podcasts streaming right now on Spotify.
Planet Money tip number 17.